What's up everybody, my name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today's Friday, October 24th. Now to end the week, we actually have some very exciting news regarding Coinbase. Yes, today Leonidas has acknowledged and made public that the conversations around DOG being submitted to the blue carpet program that Coinbase has provided has been confirmed and received and is currently in review. Now I want to share with you all that news, but also other things such as DOG voting going on blockchain.com, Gemini continuing to be very bullish on DOG, and also we got to look into the altcoin market risk model that Crypto Capital Ventures has provided and where we kind of stand. What could we see for DOG, Bitcoin, and altcoins in the next coming months, especially given that we have a rate cut coming very soon on October 29th, which is not too far away from now. So let's go ahead and start this video by smashing that like button, subscribe to the channel, don't forget to join us on X, and please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email, so please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. So DOG right now is around 160 million market cap, and the reason it's just kind of consolidating is because Bitcoin really hasn't really moved. I mean, yes, it's gone up to 107,211, now back to 110, but it's still kind of stagnant. It's been at this price point for way too long. So we're just waiting for Bitcoin to make a move. And that's why you're seeing not many altcoins either pump or dump. And the same thing with meme coins. Meme coins haven't really pumped or dumped either. They're just kind of like sitting on the sidelines, just waiting for something to happen with Bitcoin. DOG is still within the top 200 ranking, which is always very good. Now, when we look at the altcoin market risk model, this is from Crypto Capital Ventures AI unit, you can see that with this green section, this is the altcoin market overall. Now, we haven't actually peaked, meaning right now we're still in the 21 zone, which is a low risk. Now, once this meter gets into the moderate to high risk, you start to see it go from yellow to red. That means we're either undersold all the way up to oversold. So right now, we have had the longest consolidation for the altcoin market that we've ever seen in the history of cryptocurrency. Now, when we see these different green sections of the altcoin market, with this said, I feel like we should be in line for a parabola or massive bull rally for altcoins. But the thing is, what we're seeing here for the very first time is that we're seeing BlackRock, hedge funds, institutions, Wall Street, and even big banks get involved in crypto, and especially the President of the United States providing regulation. So this is the very first time where we have institutional adoption, which is why I think we're trading sideways a lot longer than what we've seen before in the previous cycles. But nonetheless, there is some innovation. So within Bitcoin's ecosystem, there is an L2 called Stacks. Now, Stacks is an L2 solution on top of Bitcoin. Now, if you don't know, Stacks actually supports the programmability of BRC20 tokens, Ordinals, and runes through their dApps. The fact that Grayscale has launched a Stack Trust within their own hedge fund is actually quite exciting. That means more money can funnel into L2 solutions into the Bitcoin ecosystem, which ultimately this announcement confirms that this is the new meta, which is an ecosystem within Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin just being a store of value or a transaction to send funds and to receive funds, but it is a programmability blockchain that people can build on top of. And you're seeing this at an exponential rate compared to what we've seen on Solana and Ethereum, where it took just a few years for those to grow. This is happening within just a couple years. So this is very exciting. I think new money is going to funnel into the Bitcoin ecosystem very fast, and it's not going to stop there. Now let's talk about DOG, and everything after this is about DOG. So let's talk about blockchain.com. They recently said Dog Army Cadet Intern is working on getting DOG spot listed. Now, when you go to their website, you can see that when we scroll down to the very bottom, there is a voting mechanism, and you can select DOG, and you can submit it by clicking the finish button, and then that vote counts for the next meme coin to be listed on blockchain.com. But surprisingly, when I go to that website now, it looks like the survey has been closed. So it's actually quite interesting that just now the survey closed as I'm speaking. So that means the Dog Army heavily went to this website, rated the heck out of it, and they're just like, okay, we just got to close it because obviously the Dog Army wants it. It's most likely going to happen. So that's really great news. Thank you so much to the Dog Army for showing up. Now let's talk about Gemini before we talk about Coinbase. Now Gemini, this was shared by Made Not Given. Got to give a shout out to Made Not Given. He's just been doing such a great job in capturing all the best news and updates regarding DOG. He shared with me this clip And in this clip, Austin and Jeremy share with us personally during their 48-hour live stream with St. Jude Hospital that they said how much and how impressive they are with the dog army showing up.
You know what's crazy though? The dog army really, like, I will admit they do mobilize like insane. Like I've gained a lot of followers, but like the 10x from our stunt with the dog army, that wasn't
a stunt, guys.
I mean, it wasn't, but it was kind of.
That wasn't a stunt. That was real. That was real.
It was real.
And what's really funny is that on October 23rd, which was yesterday, we saw that Cobbs, aka Cowboy, he said, "Dear Gemini, my grandma stays in the cage until you list dog." And Gemini responded down below, "Sorry, grandma." But this is what's amazing. Listen, it doesn't mean that Gemini is not going to list it. The fact that they're interacting with you guys and girls, especially within the dog army, confirms that they love what they're saying with dog, and most likely we're going to try to build that infrastructure for dog. So you just got to keep engaging with them, because they aren't doing this for no reason. They aren't engagement farming. They're doing this because they know, wow, we need to garner and gain the interest and not lose traction with the dog army, because we need to build this momentum up right before the listing happens for Dog Spot on our app and on our exchange. So this, to me, is very fun, and I just love the dog army for showing up for Gemini. Now let's talk about other things. Dog going to Coinbase, but on the Base blockchain. Now there are a couple people at the races right now. If you don't know, there's this company called Beyond Tech that just said today, while Leo leads dog to Coinbase, we're taking care of bringing it to the Base blockchain. Now, if you don't know, if you can get tokens on Base, apparently people on the Coinbase app and maybe the Coinbase website are able to buy those tokens on Base. So this would be a two-way bridge, not a one-way bridge, okay? So if you buy dog on Base, you're also buying dog from the Bitcoin L1 network. But we also have other people like Mind Labs. Now, if you don't know, Mind Labs was the reason why dog went over to Solana. It had a two-way bridge. Now they're wanting to get dog on Base as well, and it's their top priority. But their thing is they actually need either medium or large whale wallets to contribute to the initial seed LP on Base. And they're just asking people to reach out. So I just want to share that news with you, that people, companies, developers are trying to get dog on Base as soon as possible. Now yesterday, just right before I went to bed, I said it's been 8 days since dog was submitted to the Coinbase Blue Carpet application, yet we haven't heard from anybody from the Coinbase market team, Coinbase support, Jesse, Victor, and Shaw. And Shaw is the listing agent over at Coinbase. Now, the reason I shared this, because I personally hadn't heard anything from them. And what you're seeing from this video, which we posted, this was the proof of submission. But guess what? After that post that I made yesterday, this is what Leonidas said in response to that. He says, dog is in listing conversations with Coinbase. Yes, you heard it here. This is breaking news in this video. Coinbase listing team has given me permission to share that they have had received our dog spot listing application, that he, Leonidas, has direct communication channel with their listing team to review dog, and that we are treated fairly in their new blue carpet listing process. I greatly respect the confidentiality of my listing conversations with all the exchanges, which means I do not share with the dog army that there are even conversations unless I am told I am able to. I make zero promises that any listing conversations will lead to a listing, and have never before until now shared that a specific conversation even exists, so that people do not give their hopes up. To be extremely clear, a conversation does not mean a listing will happen, and it just means that an exchange listing team is taking the time to evaluate dog and provide feedback. Now, ultimately, it's up to every exchange to decide for themselves if they will list dog or not. All I can do is represent the dog army and the free and fair movement to the best of my ability, and try to provide exchanges with all the technical resources necessary to integrate with runes. In the case of Coinbase, I've been one of their users for over 11 years and probably wouldn't be in the crypto today had they not made it so easy for me to get onboarded to Bitcoin back then. Now, Coinbase's leadership team has made their intention to eradicate the practice of exchanges charging listing fees very clear. The dog army is equally committed to bringing an end to this exploitive business model that ultimately enriches insiders at the expense of retail, and strongly aligns with the vision for more fair and transparent listing processes at all exchanges. Now, as the most fairly launched meme coin ever airdropped 100% of its supply for free in a volunteer initiative with no team allocations or treasury, the dog army understands better than any community the difficulty of getting centralized exchange listings without paying off all the gatekeepers who expect their cut. I strongly believe that Coinbase is one of the good guys in all of this, so please be respectful to them and to their employees as they are treating me with respect. Now, ultimately, to summarize this specific post, Leonidas has never done this in the history of Dog, where he shared that he's actually in a conversation with an exchange. What's amazing about this is that this is the #1 exchange in the United States, which is Coinbase. And in fact, because Coinbase saw what Binance was doing, which was behind the scenes charging listing fees by doing something really sneaky, by using, marketing budgets, token allocations for funds as a sneaky way to hide that it's really a listing fee, right? So this is amazing that Coinbase is at the very exact moment where they want to embody not charging listing fees, honoring transparency, and trying to be the opposite of Binance, while Dog aligns with the exact same values. So the fact that Dog is confirmed in its submission with Coinbase's Blue Carpet program and is currently being in review and is in conversations, hopefully, to get Rune's infrastructure built within Coinbase, the horizon of Dog being listed on Coinbase is closer than ever since the dawn of time that Dog was ever created. And this is a very historical moment. And what's strange is that shortly after that, this morning, we saw that Shaw, the listing agent over at the Coinbase listing team, he mentioned those who have applied for Blue Carpet since our announcement, we're working our way through the submissions and we'll be getting back to each of you soon. So that's actually quite interesting that this post was made afterwards. And if you've checked out this post, there's like a whole bunch of Dog Army people in this thing. So if you see this post, make sure to let Shaw know that, yes, we want Dog on Coinbase. Just show your support, because if they see the demand, they're going to want to list it as soon as possible. And it gives them some certain urgency. Now let's close it off with charting analysis. We do know right now on October 29th, we have potentially a rate cut happening with the Fed OFMC meeting. Hopefully it's 25 basis points. Who knows, maybe it's 50 basis points. Whatever it is, we're just waiting for that to happen, which is this line right here. This green line is October 29th. Now, something I want to share with you is the Fear and Greed Index. Now, if you notice right now, we're in the orange. When we're in the orange, we're in the fear, which means we're absolutely oversold. We've been oversold for way too long, and we still have 61 days before January 1st of 2026. But this is 61 days after October 29th, so we'll see what happens until then. But right now, it just looks like Dog wants to reach into the multi-billions of dollars in market cap, and it could happen really quickly, especially with Coinbase. You'd be surprised. Once Coinbase even says the ticker Dog, or even hints at something regarding Dog, you're going to see that very reflective in the price of Dog. And it won't be similar to any of these previous events that we've seen where Dog was close to 970 to 999 million market cap. When Coinbase, the largest exchange in the United States, says anything about Dog, you're going to see this go to more than $1 billion very quickly. That's just how it works. And I just want to share that with you, my perspective of what we could expect within the Q4 of 2025. So with that said, this is very exciting. I love the fact that we get to end our week knowing that Coinbase is reviewing Dog for spot trading within their Blue Carpet program. That's the main point of this video. But not only that, Gemini is very promising. Blockchain.com is very promising. You're seeing different developers wanting to bring Dog over to the base blockchain. This is all great news. And obviously I'll be sharing more updates once more breaking news does come out. But until then, by supporting this channel, please smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and trades regarding Dog and Moon. Till then, see you guys girls next time.